Thanks for listening to our daily Bible reading lessons. The lessons today are from Leviticus 20 through 22, entitled Be Ye Holy. In our reading in Leviticus, the 20th through the 22nd chapter, seems like there's so much that causes you to think and wonder, why would people even be engaging in the things that they are? The offering of children to Molech, the engaging of immoral relationships in so many ways. He talks about the engaging in practices of the pagans and the shaving of the head in various ways, the cutting of the beard, all of these things. And, then he gets into the priest in the following chapters and the marriage relationships they have, the offerings that they have. And you think about, what is all of this about? Well, really, in verse 7 of Leviticus 20, it kind of sums it up. He says, sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy. I mean, that's it. Sanctified, holy, set apart to God, a sacred purpose, being pure. That's something that he told them to do. And you think about it, why is it so important? Well, if you look in verse 7, he says in the end of that verse, for I am the Lord your God. In other places, he will point out that he is holy. Matter of fact, about 7 times you'll find that, and then about 45 times in Leviticus, you'll find out he is the Lord. That's why. I mean, God said it. God looks, and he himself is holy, and he has called them out. He has made them who they are, brought them out of Egypt, going to take them to a promised land. He's given them the ability to be a people unto him. And he says, what I want you to do is be holy, because I'm the Lord. I am the one who has brought you out. I am the one who am myself holy. And so he wanted them to be godly. Well, you think about that, and of course, the way that they're to do it. In Leviticus, the 20th chapter, in verse 22, he says, ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. And that's pretty simple, isn't it? You want to be like God? Do what God said. Follow his will. And then in verse 33, he said, you shall not walk in the manner of the nation which I cast out before you. They committed these things, and therefore I abhorred them. In other words, the land you're going to, I've told you, and this is something they failed in taking the children out, the sinful people out of the way. But he says, don't walk in their ways. So do what God says. Don't do what the world does. And realize why? Because God's the Lord. He is either Lord of all or Lord of none in our lives. And he is himself holy. And you think about that, well, what does that have as a lesson for me today, for me and you? What does that have to do with the way that you and I are ourselves to be living? Well, if you look over in the book of 1 Peter in the first chapter in verse 15, Peter says, as he is admonishing them to live a certain lifestyle, he says, as he which has called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. Sound familiar? Well, I mean, that's a quotation out of the book of Leviticus. In verse 16, he says, for it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. In other words, again, God has given the command. And the reasoning, why? Because he's either the Lord of all or Lord of none. If he is who he ought to be in my life, in your life, then we're going to refrain from the illicit relationships. We're going to make sure that our children aren't sacrificed on the altars of the world. Not necessarily the pagans, but how are we bringing them up? I mean, all of these things make sense to you and I. And again, why? Because God is who he is. And I want to be like him. We sing that song, oh, to be like thee, blessed Redeemer. I mean, we can sing the song, but what God is saying to them and to us today, do it. Be ye holy. The world's a terrible place with a lot of terrible things. I don't want to be like them. I want to live as Paul told Titus in the 2nd chapter. We ought to live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. I mean, that's us. We're not like them. We're like him. Be ye holy. A great task before us, but a great reason, because God himself is holy. And if he's my Lord, he said it, I'll be that kind of person. Thanks for listening. You have a great day. Be holy. Thank you again for joining us in this Bible study. We remind you, if you'd like to follow along in our daily Bible reading, the link below in the description of this video will give you the PDF so you can read right along with us. If you have any other questions or if you'd like information on a Bible study, contact us with the information provided on the screen before you.